This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 18th day of October in the year 2022. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. British High Commissioner to Guyana Jane Miller today announced that holders of Guyanese passports would no longer be required to have a visa to visit the United Kingdom from the 9th of November. The announcement comes as the government has been pushing the UK and the European Union to soften its visa requirements for Guyanese nationals. Only recently, British Airways announced that it will begin flights to Guyana during the first quarter of next year.
Today is a historic day for the UK-Guyana relations, and I'm delighted to inform you that as of the 9th of November, those with a valid Guyanese passport can visit the UK visa-free.
The British High Commissioner said the visa lift shows the confidence that the UK has in the relationship with Guyana. And she said she hopes that Guyanese businesses will use the opportunity to explore business ventures in the UK.
And this visa lift is a real sign of the confidence that the UK has in the growth of our relationship. And together with the direct flight that will be happening at the end of March with British Airways, we believe this change is going to be transformative to our already strong relationship.
And the High Commissioner also pointed out that the visa lift is for a visitor's visa, and so persons will be allowed to stay in the UK for up to 180 days every time they visit the country. She said those Guyanese who wish to work, study or settle in the UK would still need to get the required visa.
So this is a visa lift for visit visas for up to 6 months, up to 180 days.
In mid-November, the High Commissioner said there will be a trade mission of British businesses coming to Guyana to explore opportunities as the two nations bolster their relations. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say. But now that it's here, it will change life forever. And it is here to stay. The future is now. Transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
Giftland Office Max, we're all about customer satisfaction. Whether it's clothing and shoes for the ladies, gents, and kids, or for the latest electronics or hardware appliance, we're always thinking of satisfying you, our dear customers. Now you can shop online at www.giftlandofficemax.com or visit us at the Giftland Mall, where we're happy to serve each and every one of you.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Welcome back. Well, moments after the announcement by the British High Commissioner to Guyana, Jane Miller, that Guyanese will no longer require a visitor's visa to travel to the UK from November, President Irfan Ali urged Guyanese not to abuse the system. The president said today's announcement culminates lots of work and negotiations, and Guyanese should not abuse the system, and they need to adhere to the visa requirements and timelines of stay in the country. The waiver announced is for a visitor's visa, where Guyanese can stay up to 6 months.
And today I'm very pleased that Guyanese can travel with greater ease to the UK. However, I want to say to all Guyanese that with these waivers come an important responsibility to all of us. We have a responsibility to safeguard these decisions, that they come with hard work and they take a long time. And we'll be working very closely with the UK in strengthening our systems to ensure there is proper monitoring and to ensure that there is no abuse of the system.
Even locally, the president said Guyanese authorities are ramping up screening and monitoring, noting that the country's economic prospects seem to be attracting scores of businesses and families to local shores who are showing an interest in Guyanese citizenship.
These days, we have greater interest in Guyanese citizenship. More persons from the region. We have a greater number of migrants coming in as a result of what is happening around us. So we are working now on strengthening our systems to ensure that our systems also are not abused.
The visa lift for Guyana is for an indefinite period, but the UK government will monitor the system to ensure that there is no abuse. An abuse in the system could see the UK withdrawing the visa lift. The chairman of the Ghana Elections Commission, retired Justice Claudette Singh, has written to the Minister of Local Government, Nigel Daramalal, informing him of a possible period for the conduct of local government elections. That's according to GCOM's Public Relations Officer, Yolanda Ward. According to Ms. Ward, the letter was dispatched to the local government minister on Monday. She, however, declined to disclose the proposed period for the elections, explaining that that is within the remit of the local government minister to do. The letter to the local government minister comes months of deliberations at the level of GCOM, where the Chief Elections Officer, Vishnu Prasad, repeatedly asked to revise his work plan. In late September, the Chief Election Officer proposed that the local government elections be held on the 13th of February next year, but the Commission had asked him to produce a more realistic timeline. The revised plan was expected to be submitted to the Commission last Tuesday for consideration. The matter was not discussed at last Tuesday's meeting, which was interrupted by repeated power outages, with GCOM indicating that it will be in a position to effectively host the elections in the first quarter of next year. The local government minister is now required to approach the National Assembly for an extension. The GCOM Public Relations Officer told News Source that the Commission is currently in preparation mode. She said with the period for claims and objections over, GCOM will soon publish the revised list of electors. The main opposition, APNU-AFC, has long objected to the Commission utilizing the list of electors produced from the old and what it called bloated National Register of Registrants database. It was disclosed that the Election Secretariat is also conducting training for polling day staff. Training started on the 24th of September. Local government elections were last held in Guyana in November of 2018.
It's time to live it up with Rubis and win! Spend $4,500 or more in Ultratech fuel at any Rubis service station and get an entry card. Win one of 3 amazing grand prizes of $500,000 cash, $500,000 in Ultratech fuel, or $500,000 in groceries. Each week you could win fabulous weekly prizes including staycations, dinners, spa and fuel vouchers, cash, electronics, and more. Live it up with Rubis and make sure you're in with a chance to win!
Yeah, we counting way from region 1 to region 10, the whole country.
Well, this serves to inform you that I have just completed the census, which is ongoing in 2022. It is my view that a census is important. It will allow us to understand the demographics in Guyana, among other things. And therefore, it is in that context, I think it is opposite that I say to people, be part of the census, ensure you're counted. It will contribute to the kind of data that is needed to do the kinds of analysis and projections in a society like ours. And if properly used, it can contribute to good governance.
Everyone in the country, we counting.
Doors and windows, Republic. Rooms and more, Republic. A brand new rug on the floor. Come to Republic, come to Republic. Whatever you need, you got it. Come through and get your mortgage. Live the dream with Republic.
95 to 100% financing, 50% waiver of negotiation fees, plus one lucky person gets their mortgage paid in full. Turn someday into today. Talk to Republic Bank about your low-cost mortgage today.
With the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into the 2020 general and regional elections set to begin public hearings in early November, the Secretariat is encouraging witnesses to come forward. In a pre-recorded interview released by the Department of Public Information, the Commission's Secretary Javis Shadiq and Administrator Colonel Ronald Hercules pleaded with witnesses to make contact with the Commission of Inquiry Secretariat located on Middle Street.
Anyone who has any information or is willing to come to the Commission of Inquiry, they could call those numbers, leave their information, and we will get back to you.
The Commission's Secretary explained that the numbers to contact are 2319820 and 2319828. Mr. Shadiq said the inquiry will take the form of a court hearing where the commissioners and assigned attorneys will be posing questions to the various witnesses.
The Commission of Inquiry itself, it will be in the format of a court. So the commissioners will be asking questions, there will be attorneys present, and you just basically give your evidence before the commission. This is not a tedious task, and we are hoping that we have persons who willingly come forward to give statements pertaining to what happened during the 2nd of March 2020.
And he also noted that security arrangements will be in place throughout the Commission of Inquiry, which will in part take the form of a public hearing. Colonel Hercules disclosed that the Commission of Inquiry Secretariat has been staffed, and the Lot 95 Middle Street complex is almost prepared for the commencement of the public hearings. The high-level Commission of Inquiry, chaired by retired Trinidadian Judge Stanley John, was appointed on the 13th of September to inquire into certain events connected with and being part of the regional and general elections of 2020. According to a document published in the Official Gazette, the Commission is required to inquire into the circumstances and events leading up to and the procedures following the elections on the 2nd of March of 2020. Special focus will be placed on the counting, ascertainment, and tabulation of votes polled, and the public declaration of those results by the Region 4 returning officer and the other election officials as stipulated by the Representation of the People Act. The Commission is also tasked with determining what attempts, if any, were made to obstruct, frustrate, subvert, and prevent the counting, ascertainment, and tabulation of votes polled and the declaration of the true results of Electoral District Number 4, as prescribed by law. The Commission will also inquire into the conduct of the Chief Election Officer and other election officials during the elections. Still in the world of politics, opposition leader Aubrey Norton today said his party has no interest in the Commission of Inquiry into the elections, which he believes is already marred by partisanship. The opposition leader said his party will be focused instead on the election petition cases that are currently before the courts, which are challenging the validity and legality of the results declared at the last elections.
The government is a party to the elections. They were culpable in the election, and this is a case of charging Caesar to be tried by Caesar. They should not be choosing anybody for involvement in a commission in which they are accused of crimes.
Mr. Norton told reporters today that the government has already shown that it will fight the election petition cases that are before the courts, even as it said that it has nothing to hide. He urged that the petitions be given priority over any other investigation.
It is this very government that was shouting from the top of St. George's Cathedral that the way to deal with these issues is by way of election petition. The same government now turns around and trying to ensure that the election petition doesn't come to the fore, and if it does, it must come after COI that is set up by the government to achieve whatever results it wants.
According to a recent public notice, the Commission's terms of reference are to inquire into and report on the relevant circumstances and events leading up to and the procedures following the elections of 2020. Mr. Norton said the government is too involved in the process.
For us, the COI is an attempt to browbeat the people of Guyana and to produce information that suits the PPP so that they can plow their mouths and make all kinds of conclusion. Clearly, it is the election petition that matters, and we will focus on the election petition.
Last month, the 3 commissioners set to preside over the Commission of Inquiry were sworn in. Those 3 commissioners are retired Trinidadian Judge Stanley John, former Eastern Caribbean Judge Godfrey Smith, and former Acting Chancellor of the local judiciary, Justice Carl Singh. A new board of directors has been appointed at the Guyana Sugar Corporation, Guyana, as the government remains hopeful that a cash-strapped ailing sugar industry could somehow be resurrected. Director General in the Ministry of Agriculture, Madan Lal Ramraj, has been appointed the chairman of the board of directors. The other directors include Mohammed Rafiq, Roy Hanneman, Shaliza Shaw, Taranchan Balgabin, Shamira Evans, Desmond Sears, Vishnu Pandey, Paul Chung, Ramnarait Rupan, and 2 representatives from the Ministry of Agriculture and the Agricultural and General Workers Union. Today, the board chairman and directors met with Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa. Minister Mustafa told the board that the revitalization and modernization of the country's sugar industry remain of utmost importance to the government and the people of Guyana. He said, notwithstanding the difficulties faced as a result of the closure of several estates under the last administration, the current government remains steadfast in its efforts to restore the sector. The Agriculture Minister told the directors that it is the responsibility of the board to implement the policies of the government as it relates to the development of the industry. He also spoke of the need for a direct line of communication between the board of directors and the estate management to be established. This, he said, is vital to the effective functioning and operation of the various sugar estates. The Agriculture Minister also encouraged the members to work collectively and to maintain a high level of professionalism as they strive to achieve viability within the industry. The last board of directors was chaired by Pravin Chandra Dev, under whose chairmanship saw a number of calls for the government to remove the chief executive officer at Guyana, Sis Narayan Singh. Upon tendering his resignation as vice chairman, Anthony Vera accused the CEO of mismanaging the corporation. Gawu has also called for Singh to be removed, but he remains the CEO, enjoying the full confidence of the president and the government.
We counting we from region 1 to region 10, the whole country.
We've just completed our census interview. It's quite a simple process. Whenever the team comes to your home, kindly cooperate and get the interview done, because it's also important for the information to be available to us as a government to plan and implement our programs and projects for the development of Guyana, a development that you will benefit from.
We counting we from region 1 to region 10, the whole country.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor of the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
Rooms and more, Republic, a brand new rug on the floor. Come to Republic, come to Republic. Whatever you need, you got it. Come through and get your mortgage. Live the dream with Republic.
95 to 100% financing, 50% waiver of negotiation fees, plus one lucky person gets their mortgage paid in full. Turn some day into today. Talk to Republic Bank about your low-cost mortgage today.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full game in set setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up, protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, the Bahamas would send troops or police to Haiti as part of a peacekeeping force if asked to do so by the UN or CARICOM. That's the position of the Bahamian government. The US and Mexico yesterday called for UN support for a security mission to Haiti, where a gang blockade of critical fuel port has crippled economic activity and left millions of people facing hunger. The National Security Minister in the Bahamas, Wayne Monroe, told reporters that if CARICOM determines to send troops in, CARICOM will no doubt determine how the troop makeup will be, which would include the Bahamian troops. He said if it is a determination, the defense force will be ready and willing and able to deploy. The Bahamian Prime Minister Philip Davis assumed the chairmanship of CARICOM in January. Such an intervention would be in the interest of the Bahamas, Monroe said, because the Royal Bahamas Defense Force already does extensive work to patrol its territorial waters for Haitian migrants. Right-wing Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro and leftist former President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva attacked each other's records in office yesterday in the first debate of the second round of Brazil's elections. Reflecting a fiercely polarized race that has been largely devoid of policy debates, the two candidates fell back often on personal attacks during the 2 hours of debates on local television, according to Reuters. Bolsonaro later took the offensive and blasted Lula for corruption scandals during the 14 years that his Workers' Party governed Brazil. A huge graft probe arrested dozens of business leaders and politicians, including Lula, who spent time in jail on a bribery conviction that was later overturned by Brazil's Supreme Court. Lula won 48% of the votes in the first round of the election on the 2nd of October against 43% for Bolsonaro, who unexpectedly strong performance set the stage for a competitive runoff on the 30th of October. In a heated campaign to win swing votes, both candidates have ramped up their rhetoric and delivered bruising personal attacks in TV ads. And finally tonight, international news. The BBC reports that at least 13 people have died after a Russian fighter bomber plane crashed into an apartment block in the southern Russian town of Yezd, according to officials. The two pilots on a training flight ejected before it hit the building and caused a huge inferno. Rescuers revised the death toll after finishing their search of the rubble, Russia's emergency ministry said. 3 children are among the dead victims. The officials said 68 persons were rescued from the blaze in the 9-story block. 19 injured persons are being treated following the Monday evening crash. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.